Hello, everyone joining us from around the country and around the world. Welcome to the live event with the Swanson School of Engineering at the University of Pittsburgh. We're so excited that you all have decided to join us today, and we have an excellent group of individuals here to answer any questions you may have about the Swanson School experience at Pitt. My name is Lauren Wallace, and I am the Director of Undergraduate Recruitment at Pitt and a current 2.5-time Pitt alum, and I'm excited to be moderating this session with the Swanson School. So I'm going to turn it to the group that I have with me to introduce themselves. I'll lead with your name, and then everyone can go ahead with their introductions. We'll start with you, Dr. Sacre.
Hi, I'm Mary Besterfield-Sacre. I'm the Associate Dean for Academic Affairs in the Swanson School of Engineering. I'm also a professor in the Industrial Engineering Department. And lastly, I am the director of our own Engineering Education Research Center. Welcome.
Lauren Byland.
Hi, everybody. I am an associate director and coordinator of student recruitment in the first year engineering program office. I also have 15 years of academic advising experience under my belt, mainly with engineering students. Welcome.
Beth Scott.
Hi, everybody. I am one of the campus visit and recruitment coordinators working very closely with Lauren in recruitment for the College of Engineering, elementary school teacher, and also in higher ed the last probably 4 or 5 years of my life. So looking forward to meeting you online today. Thanks.
Isabel.
Hi, my name is Isabel. I'm a sophomore civil engineering student, and I'm from Westfield, New Jersey.
Madeline.
Hi, I'm Maddie Hobbs. I am a senior bioengineering student, originally from Portsmouth, Rhode Island.
Melina.
Hi, everyone. I'm Melina Hudson, and I am a sophomore environmental engineering student, and I'm from Milford, Delaware.
Spencer.
Hi, everyone. I'm a senior industrial engineering student, and I'm a Pittsburgh native.
Alexis.
Hi, everyone. I'm a junior mechanical engineering student, and I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Helen.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a great morning. I'm a senior chemical engineering student, and I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio.
And Ravi.
Hi, guys. I'm a sophomore computer engineering student, and I'm originally from Old Bridge, New Jersey.
Excellent. Thank you all for those introductions. So we will be taking questions from you all around the globe about the Swanson School of Engineering, about the experience as a student, about program elements, anything that you may be interested in. As we wait for those questions to come in, I'll also insert some questions that you all may have for our panelists here. I'll start with the students. Could you tell me a little bit about the experience that you've had in the Swanson School of Engineering that made you happy that you chose Pitt?
Yeah, the Pitt experience is a really special one. And I'm so glad that I've been here and been able to learn and experience it with all my peers for the past 4 years. Pitt is a really unique school in that it's a really large public university, but we still get that kind of smaller university feel because our engineering school is only about 600 students per class. So that's something that I've really enjoyed, is you get all the advantages of a large research institution with all of the opportunities, the sports, the city, but you also get that kind of one-on-one attention within the engineering school. So it always feels like you're valued, like they really want to get you through it and they want to help you at every turn and make sure that your experience is as enriching as possible. So I've really loved it personally. It's been a great experience.
Thanks, Helen. Anyone else?
I would just like to touch on how Pitt Engineering is such a global education. One of the really unique things is how diverse and broad our engineering study abroad programs are. There are so many unique programs specifically for our Pitt engineers that allow us to go all over the world and not only study at universities, participate in service learning and research. I myself have been on 2 study abroads, one to France and one to South Africa, and they have definitely been experiences that I wouldn't have been able to get outside of Pitt.
Excellent. So the mention of study abroad makes me think of something as far as a lot of people think of an engineering curriculum as one that is very structured between the co-op opportunities and time in class. And maybe, engineering is not a place where you get a chance to study abroad. Could any of our engineering leaders talk about how Pitt does a good job of making sure that there is that balance between the classroom time and the time that students are able to spend outside of the classroom?
So this is Mary, and I'll go ahead and answer that question. I've always told people, in particular prospective students, that if all you do in coming to a university to study engineering is take classes, then you'll graduate as an engineer. I highly believe, and we have incorporated throughout our programming, that to be an engineer, you have to have these experiential experiences. So we have co-op is one of our award-winning experiences that many of our students participate in. Maddie mentioned the study abroad, where 47% of our students participate in before they actually graduate, which Pitt is probably one of the highest in the country associated with that. We have other programs associated with experiential learning, such as undergraduate research, where we have about 40% of our students participate in, as well as our maker spaces. We do a lot in innovation and entrepreneurship, and we're now about 1/3 of our students will participate in that. So when you think about co-op, where half of our students participate, study abroad, where you got 47%, undergraduate research, where you have about 40%, and our maker spaces, where we do innovation and entrepreneurship, and we have about 1/3, that students are engaging in more than one of these before they graduate. And that's what being an engineer is all about. It's taking what you learn in the classroom and putting it into use.
That's perfect. So we do have some questions coming in talking about the classroom experience. One that could probably be easily answered, but are there any recommendations for technology for engineers as far as maybe the brand of laptop, anything like that? What resources are available for students who are on campus? And then what would you encourage they bring with them?
As far as laptop goes, I recommend the Dell XPS 9570. That's what I have, and a lot of my friends have it. It's a really good computer. It's fast and it's good with coding, and it has capability for all the software that you'll use in your engineering classes.
Lauren, you had something to add?
So I was basically going to say something very similar to Izzy, but essentially, all the software that you're going to get starting right away freshman year is free. So you don't actually need to worry about, buying any additional software prior to enrollment. And we also have a computer recommendation sheet that I could send to you guys that you could put on your website that was created by our director of advising.
We have a question coming in about class sizes. How large are the freshman engineering classes at Pitt? And while we touch on that topic, how do the class sizes change once students are within their specific major?
So I'll probably go ahead and answer that one. We try to keep our class sizes. We have specially designed classrooms, so they're only for engineers. Everybody sits around a table in a group of 6. And you have 2 people that share a computer, and at the front of the classroom, you have your instructor who's working with the students. We can have up to about 70 in a classroom, and that might sound large, but when you see the design of the classrooms, they're actually very cozy, and that you have groups of 6 people working together in an environment, and the faculty member along with the TAs can kind of circulate throughout the classroom.
And I'll call on a student here. Alexis, could you tell us what the experience has been like within the engineering classrooms at Pitt?
Sure. So when you start off, initially, you're taking like your chemistry course with other engineers and a physics class, and those are typically pretty large and they're in large lecture settings. But then you'll also typically have a recitation with it, and that's much smaller. It's with roughly like 15 other students. The only difference with that is you're going to be taught by a graduate TA typically rather than your actual professor. But that's okay because you can always go to office hours if you have like one-on-one questions. And then when you have your coding class that was mentioned before, we sit in groups of 6, and that's pretty much your freshman year. But as you go farther along, the class size is typically at smaller, and you also have labs and things like that where you'll just be working with one other partner.
Have any of the students on the call participated in a co-op? You can just raise your hand. I'd love to hear from those people. Excellent. Could Spencer and then Helen talk a little bit about their experience with the co-op? And then Lauren, can you give us some formal information on that?
So I was able to participate with 2 different co-op companies. So I started with MSA Safety right here in Pittsburgh, where we were manufacturing safety equipment. And then I found it wasn't really a great fit for me. So I started looking for another opportunity. And last fall, I was able to co-op with Walt Disney World with their industrial engineering department. So there's definitely a wide variety of opportunities out there.
And then I completed a co-op with Lubrizol, and they were actually stationed here in Cleveland. So I got to come live at home, which my mom was super happy about. We often get questions about if you can go travel to other places for co-ops or if you have to stay in Pittsburgh. And the answer is that a lot of students will travel outside of Pittsburgh. I know Spencer went to Florida for Disney. So co-op is really enriching, and it allows you to get that really hands-on experience instead of just reading out of a textbook or learning from your professor. You actually see exactly what you're going to be doing in the future in industry. And so I think it's really invaluable just to get yourself kind of that information on what industry actually looks like and if it's something that you would be interested in.
So for those of you who don't know what a co-op is, it's an alternation of work and school. We have a co-op office and 3 professional staff members that work directly with the co-op companies and the students to help find them positions. They are all relevant, challenging, and paid work assignments. The average starting salary is around $3,000 a month, and about 50% of our student body will participate in the co-op program. It is not a requirement, but it is very popular among our engineering students.
Could someone talk about some of the different places where engineering students have co-opted, and are those opportunities also available internationally?
So our students co-op all over the country. There are some international co-op opportunities. Some examples, like Spencer said, he worked at Disney, MSA, Westinghouse, PNC Bank. Some other international ones that I can think of are Convestro, ANSYS, which is actually owned by our namesake, Dr. John Swanson. So, and in terms of international ones, I'll let Mary speak to that. That's sometimes that can be difficult for the first rotations, but if a student wants to do a co-op internationally, sometimes we can make it happen.
Yes, so we are actually expanding our co-ops to do more international work. Typically, it would be a 3rd rotation. So as Lauren mentioned, co-op is 3 rotations where you alternate work and going to school. And if someone is interested in a international one, of course, you'd work with the particular company. So we have had an individual here and there going to places such as like BMW, where their first 2 rotations would be in South Carolina, and then their 3rd rotation would be in Germany. We've had some that are doing some of the same with a few other companies, and we had some individuals that were slated to go to England as well.
That is great. So we had a question come in about figuring out majors. So I'll toss this to the students first to ask them, how did you go about deciding which area of engineering that you would go into? Feel free to raise your hand and I'll call on you in a round. We'll start with you, Ravi, but that would be great for our students to be able to hear.
Yeah, so I actually switched my majors a lot. I started off as bioengineering and I realized I didn't really like bio, so that was a bad fit. And then I went to mechanical engineering and realized I didn't really like the really hands-on physics. And so I switched again to computer engineering, and I love it now. I think it's a great fit for me. One thing that I really like is Pitt is really fluid with letting you change your majors. Everyone's really supportive, and the advising team at the School of Engineering is just fantastic. They helped me create so many different four-year plans as I was changing, helped me fit in minors as I was changing my interests. The freshman engineering curriculum is designed to help you start learning about the different majors. The freshman seminar program, in your fall semester, a different advisor from each department will come in and talk to you about each major, so you can kind of learn about each one individually. And then in your spring semester, you'll write papers about each major, like why you want to do it. You'll talk to some professors in it, so you really get to learn in depth about it before you get to pick. One thing that I love about Pitt is there's no caps on major. So at the end of your freshman year, everyone picks a major. And if all 600 incoming students pick chemical engineering, we just hire more staff to keep up our student to faculty ratio. So that kind of discourages competition. There's no like limited spots for the top students. Anyone can pick whatever major they like.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yeah, Melina.
I would just like to add, I mean, Robbie hit pretty much every point, but I'd like to add that our faculty is really easy to reach out to. So if you had any questions regarding any of those presentations that you get in your big seminar, they're more than willing to respond to your emails or meet with you in person to personally talk about their department. I know a lot of department heads that do those presentations are very passionate about their department. So it's very easy to get more information than you just get in that one presentation.
Yes, Dr. Sakri.
So one of the things at the Swanson School is all individuals will come in as first-year freshmen. So even though they might have decided, as in Robbie's case, he wanted to begin as a bioengineer, we recognize that you want to be a bioengineer, but all students will be first-year freshmen in engineering, and that way they can sample the different opportunities across the board. And it's not until March timeframe, the second semester, that then they do select the department that they're most interested in. And what's interesting is about 50% of the people actually end up changing what they thought they wanted to do when they first arrived. So it's a good opportunity just to be able to have that first year to be able to test the waters, to decide what they want.
So speaking of deciding what they want, that's a great transition into one question we got about transferring into the Swanson School from the Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences. What would that look like? Is that something that's possible at Pitt? And if it is possible, what's required to do that?
Yes, so we have about 250 to 275 students who transfer into the Swanson School of Engineering every single year. If a student did start in the Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences, they would let their advisor know that they are interested in engineering, and they'd be on what's called the pre-engineering track. So they would get to actually take the exact same classes our students do. There's one little minor difference. They would take an off-sequence engineering analysis, and then they would apply to transfer into the School of Engineering after the end of their freshman year. So they would need a 3.0 for all of our engineering majors to transfer. Bioengineering is actually a 3.5, but it's definitely possible, obviously, with the numbers that are transferring in. So absolutely, if they are starting in Dietrich, they can transfer into the School of Engineering, and that would be right after their freshman year, and they would not lose any time whatsoever. They'd still graduate within 8 semesters.
So related question, if students end up changing their major within the Swanson School of Engineering, is that something that typically adds a year or two to their ultimate graduation, or is there space to be a little bit flexible after freshman year?
So, I mean, that really would depend on when they are changing their major. If they change right away at the beginning of sophomore year, like I believe that Robbie did, it really isn't going to affect them too much. If they do change their major, let's say around junior year, that might add some additional time, absolutely.
Excellent. So we have a question here. I'm going to toss this to Dr. Sakri about how the upper level division courses are being handled in light of the COVID-19, and how are students still being able to engage within the classroom?
So certainly COVID-19 was a learning experience for absolutely everybody in the world. What we did is as soon as we had even an inkling of what we were going to be doing, we immediately as a school got all of the troops rallied, staff, faculty, even many of the students to say, how are we going to do this? How are we going to make it happen? And how are we going to preserve, the Pitt experience? I run a Center for Engineering Education Research. We literally got all the faculty engaged in making sure that they could provide students with the best possible distance environment. We have some faculty are doing a phenomenal job in that they were already flipping their classroom where they had their lectures pre-recorded and they would send those out for students. And then instead of the students being in the classroom, they're actually in a Zoom chat. And the students are able to come together, talk with each other, talk with the faculty. Faculty are kind of creating open kind of office hours. Our staff are doing the same thing as far as advising. For our senior design, that one's a little bit more tough because many of the students were already working on building their products. And so some of the, and probably Maddie could talk a little bit about how they were doing that, but some of them were able to kind of grab their devices and they're working with their friends remotely over Zoom to try to get things finished. We had one faculty before we had to kind of close the doors on everyone that created kits for every single student and sent them to their home address so that they could work on their design across their classroom. So I don't know, I know Maddie is working on her senior design, Spencer's working on his senior design. They might be able to provide a little bit of an experience on how things are going. It's not perfect, but they're making it happen.
Yeah, Maddie and Spencer, could you speak to that?
I'm actually not currently in senior design, so I'll defer to Maddie.
Hi, everybody. So again, I'm Maddie. I'm a senior bioengineer. So our senior design for bioengineering is a year-long capstone design course in which we do a really extensive process of reaching out to different individuals in the healthcare fields to try to identify different unmet needs that they have in different clinical scenarios, and then actually end up designing a prototype to meet those needs. And then in the spring semester, we spend the entire process going through an entire FDA validation and verification as if we were to take this medical device to make it commercially available. So as Dr. Sakri mentioned, it has been a little bit difficult as my group does not physically have our device to be able to test. However, in being a true Pitt engineer, we adapt and we are resilient. So we work to try to make whatever we can possible. So we actually were able to create a video explaining the functionality of our device. And then we were able to send that to some of our healthcare workers that we were involved in, actually with Pitt's Simulation Center here with UPMC. And so we created surveys to try to evaluate how those different professionals and clinicians would view the functionality of our device to get some feedback on things they might change or features that they enjoyed. So obviously we'd have loved to actually been able to present it to them in person. However, given the circumstances, we were able to kind of adapt and work with a video and survey model.
Excellent. And in case anyone has joined us halfway through, we have plenty of engineering leadership on this call. We also have several different students, so feel free to ask any sort of question that you'd like. If you do have questions that we don't get to during the course of this call, you can email pitt.admissions@pitt.edu, and we will get those filtered out to the engineering school. You can also send your questions to the number you used to register today. But we do have a good volume of questions coming in. I'm going to toss this question over to Beth. One of the questions we got was about what companies are routinely reaching out to recruit Pitt students, and how does Pitt help students in connecting to internships and jobs after graduation? I know the university overall has that 94% job placement rate. I think it may even be a little bit higher for our professional schools like engineering. So could you tell us a little bit more about how those connections are made, Beth?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Lauren. That is so true. So we have career fairs offered in the spring and in the fall. We also have, between our co-op program, we have over 300 companies that work with our students in co-op education. Many of those students end up going to work for the companies that they work for during their co-op. There's 2 co-op fairs also in the spring and the fall. So between the career fairs, the co-op programs, all of the companies, as we mentioned earlier, nationally and internationally that reach out to us, as Lauren mentioned, we have a great placement rate following graduation. We also have a career services representative that comes and works in the College of Engineering. We have a big orange desk in the lobby, and behind that desk, we have not only our co-op office, our International Study Abroad office, our Excel office, and our career services office, all in one place. It's kind of like a one-stop shopping for our students, which makes it real easy for them whenever they're looking to extend whatever they need to do within their 4 years at the Swanson School of Engineering. Anyone want to add to that?
Spencer.
I'd like to add that even if you don't have success at finding a position from the co-op fair, the co-op office is very fantastic in helping you find a position, even if your GPA is not the greatest. As long as you're willing to be flexible, they're going to help find a position that works well for you. And even if you're at the company already, they're definitely always working to make sure that you're having a great experience at that company. And if you're not, they're able to help you get out of that contract and look around for another company. So the co-op office is always sending out job applications that may interest you. They'll bombard you with emails until you find a position.
Excellent. So in your response, Beth, I heard you mention Pitt excels, and I heard Dr. Sakry mention some things about diversity within the School of Engineering. So could you talk a little bit about the resources we have for diverse populations within the Swanson School of Engineering, whether that be gender diversity, ethnic diversity, all sorts of things that we have as student support systems in place?
Sure, yes. Our Pitt Excel program is top notch, one of the best in the country, run by some incredible professionals. In fact, we just ran a call campaign this past weekend, reaching out to our admitted underrepresented students. And so we have a number of scholars through the Excel program that they create programs and programming that is they have like a summer SEA program where you can come early, meet other students that look like you, that study like you, that you feel comfortable with. Yvette, Miss Moore has developed really a family feel within the Excel program. So they connect in many different ways, and they have a great amount of tutoring and resource help so that all of our students who partake in the Excel program are successful, feel as if their needs are met. The fact that we are, again, a medium-sized engineering school, but housed within a larger university within an urban setting, also provides so many opportunities for all of our students, including those who partake in the Excel program. So very, very successful program, very proud of our program.
Along those same lines, yeah, I was going to just call on students. So Melina, you can add in there. And then any other students who are involved in a student organization within the Swanson School of Engineering, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that we do have those great programs that are directly within the School of Engineering, but we also have clubs for several demographics. I'm a part of the Society of Women Engineers, which Lexi is too. So maybe she can speak about that in a minute, but we have all kinds of demographic organizations, including what I mentioned, SWE, Society of Women Engineers, National Society of Black Engineers, or NSBE, SHIP, Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, OSTEM for LGBTQIA+ engineers. So really, you can find your section within engineering to maybe make yourself feel a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more empowered. We also do events within like those organizations working together to talk about diversity and inclusion and intersectionality. So really, as engineers, we do focus on our coursework, but we also have that experience of that social impact that we all take part in together.
Thank you. Any other students want to add in? Sure.
Hi, so I was just going to say that here at Pitt, we have over 400 clubs. And at the beginning of the year, when you first come, there'll be an activities fair. And there you can see all the different clubs we have offered here at Pitt. But during your orientation, you'll also have, or the beginning of the year, you'll also have a fair just for engineering organizations. And that's at the lawn in Benham Hall. There you'll get to see different organizations that Melina talked about. And I saw the question about Pitt FSAE. So FSAE is a club here at Pitt. For those of you that don't know, they design their own car, and then they race it at different events. They go to California, they've been abroad, they've been to Germany, and they go and race their own car. How FSAE works is it's pretty flexible. So the amount of time you dedicate to it and work on the car is what you get out of it, they like to say. So you can come at night and work on it. You can come in Saturday mornings, and you can come a lot, or you can only come once a week. But if you come a lot, they'll really notice that, and you'll get to even drive the car if you want to. When you first start out in the club, they pretty much teach you all that you'll need to know to work on the car. So they're going to teach you SolidWorks, which is like a CAD program where they design the products for the car. And then they'll also get you your shop safety training done so you can work in the machine shop. And then they'll also teach you how to weld. So you get a lot of hands-on opportunities with that. And then Melina also mentioned SWE. It's one of the engineering organizations we also have here at Pitt. And what's really nice is you don't have to be a woman to be in SWE. We also have guys in the club too, which is pretty cool. And one of the main things we do at SWE is we hold a lot of outreach opportunities. So usually on Saturdays, we'll bring in elementary school students, high school students, and we'll actually do hands-on activities with them and teach them what STEM is. So it's pretty amazing.
That's excellent. We got another question for within the classroom. Are you all able to double major, have minors, do certificates? And is that something that you've found feasible even with the heavy engineering workload? Yeah, we'll start with Isabel, then Lexi.
So I'm a civil engineering major, but I'm also minoring in Spanish and pursuing a sustainability certificate. I've had no issues. I've sat with both Dietrich advisors and Swanson advisors to kind of plan out my 4-year schedule. The Spanish minor is a lot of work. However, it's really easy to fit within my schedule. And we're super flexible here to make sure that you can accomplish everything you want by the end of your 8 semesters.
Lexi.
Hi again. So yeah, as Izzy was saying, you can get a minor in one of the other schools here at Pitt. I know personally I got a minor in economics, but you can also get a minor in a different engineering. So for example, I'm also getting a minor in civil engineering. So that's pretty nice that you can also major in one department and then get a minor in another. You just have to plan out your schedule, and advisors are always there to help you do that. And what's also really nice is you can declare your minor certificate whenever you want. So I declared the civil engineering minor just last semester, but I declared my economics one my sophomore year.
Excellent. And is it possible to pick up a track, like a pre-med track specifically for bioengineering?
Absolutely. So our program is designed to accommodate kind of 3 different post-graduation options. So about a fourth of our graduating bioengineering class will pursue some kind of medical or pre-health degree. About a fourth will also pursue some kind of higher education, be that a PhD or a graduate school degree. And then about half will go into medical device or bioengineering industry. So it is possible to do all those different things within our department. Being pre-med is something that is very feasible within the bioengineering department. Our schedule and curriculum are set up to accommodate those students. We also have pre-health advisors for the entire university that are resources to help those students looking to pursue some kind of pre-health field, and they can help you again set up that schedule. But it is very possible to do pre-med within bioengineering. It's very common, and the classes I think prepare you in a very unique way for some kind of pre-health field.
Did any of you all decide to live in the engineering LLC? Excellent. So Isabel or Izzy, if you want to tell us a little bit about that, and then others who have chosen different housing options, you can just chime in about what's available at Pitt.
So I lived in the engineering LLC my freshman year, and it was probably one of the best decisions I made before coming to Pitt. One of the best benefits is you're at Pitt, your freshman year, you're taking the same classes as every single engineer. So on your floor, most of the kids on the floor are in the same classes as you. So if you have a homework question, you can go around knocking on doors and people will help you with it. And another thing is you kind of already have a mentor as soon as you start because your RA is an engineer. So one of my RAs is also an ambassador. His name's Ben, and he kind of just helped me like work on my resume and stuff like that as a freshman. So it was definitely beneficial, and I highly recommend it for anyone.
Yeah, Helen.
Yeah, I chose to live in the Honors LLC, which is up in Sutherland. I know Maddie lived there as well, and we both loved it. Me personally, I'm just somebody who I recognize the value of the engineering LLC, but I knew that if I was with all engineers in classes and then I went and I lived with them, I would just go a little bit insane. So I wanted kind of a mix of majors within my living group. So in Sutherland, I lived in a suite of 8 girls. We had 3 pre-med, 2 engineers. We had like a poetry major. So you just kind of get a little bit of that breadth, but they're all still like-minded students. We were all pretty geared towards grades and academics. And the Honors LLC hosts a lot of fun events. So for me, it was great to live in an LLC because I had all of those events and all of that support and like-minded friends. The engineering one just wasn't for me, but I loved the honors one. So.
Perfect. Melina, did you have anything to add? I saw your hand was raised.
No, I was just gonna add about the Honors College LLC. That's where I live too.
Dr. Sakri, you mentioned a little bit earlier about the maker spaces. Could you talk a little bit more about them? People are really interested in having a creative outlet within engineering.
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about the maker spaces, but just to add to the LLCs, we do have a Innovation and Entrepreneurship LLC as well, and it's housed with about 1/3 engineering students, 1/3 business students, and 1/3 Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences. So, you know, across the Engineering LLC, the Honors College LLC, and the Innovation and Niche LLC, there's lots of opportunities. And then, you know, majority of our students just want to not be like Helen was saying, she didn't want to be with a bunch of engineers. It's perfectly great to have our students also just room and go into the go into the dorms with other students from across the campus. But with regards to our maker spaces, even though we're an urban campus, we actually have a lot of maker spaces across the campus, but within Swanson School, we have 4 maker spaces. Actually, no, I take that back. We have 6 maker spaces is what Beth is saying. We have one that is a classroom where one of our freshman engineering classes is taken. It's called the Art of Making. We have another one where it's 24/7. Any student can go in. We have another one that's a little bit more upscale where you have to have training on the equipment, but it's open 24/7. We have something called Skippy, which is if you're really going to build something to full prototype and you need to use some heavy duty machinery. We also have a music engineering lab. So Spencer could probably talk to you a little bit about that one. And then we have something that's called the Design Media Laboratory, where you can go in and create videos, and there's a green screen, so you can talk through and create things like that.
Excellent. There's so many hands-on opportunities, and I know that engineering students have participated in courses that incorporate music, and several people are in the Pitt band. I'm surprised to find how many engineering students participate in that. Oh, see, there you go. We got 2 hands on this call, so that is great. One of the questions we have, and we have about 7 minutes left, so we'll start wrapping up soon, but it's talking about the undergraduate classes. Who teaches those classes for students, and when do you start taking the engineering specific courses?
So as Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, I have made it a policy, and it's been a policy of the Swanson School, that our faculty teach. So the first year program is taught by all faculty. On occasion, we will have a PhD student who has wanted to go into academia, and in particular, they want to go into teaching. We put them through a rigorous program where we actually train them on pedagogical methods of how to teach, and they sometimes end up being better faculty than our current faculty, but you will not be taught by a TA. On occasion, you have a TA that might be in a recitation or helping out in a laboratory, but our classes are taught by faculty.
Excellent. So we have about 5 minutes left. So I'm going to do one housekeeping thing, and then I'm going to toss it to our students for a quick, like 10 seconds about why they chose Pitt, because that's an important portion of this call. If we have time, I will turn it to my staff as well. So on the housekeeping side of things, as mentioned earlier, if you have questions, personal questions, or questions we didn't get to answer on this call, please feel free to email pitt.admissions@pitt.edu, and we'll get those sent out to the Swanson School for response, or respond to them if they relate to your admissions at Pitt. And then you can also text your questions to the number that you used to register for this session. Okay, so that being said, I'm going to put you on the spot and start with you, Izzy. Just a quick statement on why Pitt Swanson School of Engineering, and then I'll toss it to everyone else.
So we emphasize collaboration here, not competition, and that was something I was looking for. And also we have our own engineering international experience office, and that was super important to me. And that is why I came to Pitt.
Perfect length and perfect answer. Maddie.
So I came to Pitt because of the incredible resources supporting bioengineering with all of our UPMC facilities and research, and the ability to do so many extracurriculars within your engineering degree. So I've been able to study abroad twice, participate in biomechanics research, and I was a member of our Division I women's soccer team, all while studying bioengineering. So Pitt Engineering makes it possible, and they allow you and support you to succeed.
Excellent. Melina.
When I was looking for colleges, I was looking for 3 things. I was looking for proximity to a city, a good engineering school, well, great, and a large marching band. And for Pitt, that all 3 boxes were checked off. The city is a 10-minute bus ride away. We have an excellent engineering school, and our band is 308 people strong. So
nice. Spencer.
I really love Pitt Engineering because it's just so full of opportunities, and you really can't graduate by just taking courses. We're going to force you to do in-class lab experiences. So many of our students study abroad, co-op, do research. We really just produce very well-rounded engineers.
Excellent. Lexi?
Just pretty much the same as everyone else has been saying, just all the opportunities. I've been able to study abroad twice so far. I have multiple minors. I am involved in multiple engineering clubs while also non-engineering clubs, and there's just so many opportunities. So, yeah.
Perfect. Helen.
So when I came to Pitt, or when I chose it, I just knew I wanted to be in a city, and that engineering sounded kind of cool, but I had no idea what it meant. So I wanted to come somewhere where I was going to feel supported, where it felt like the faculty, the administration, the staff, they all cared about me. And Pitt Engineering has done that for me. It's been bar none the best experience of my life, and I'm so happy I chose to study here.
Thank you. Ravi.
I chose Pitt because I knew it had really supportive faculty and staff. My older sister actually went here, and I also knew it had a lot of innovation opportunities. In my freshman year, I took a design course that me and my team ended up getting a patent out of, and that was just something that I never envisioned. So I thought that was incredible, and I love the decision I made.
That is incredible. We have 2 minutes left. So Lauren, Dr. Sakri, or Beth, anything that you'd like to add for our parents and our families considering Pitt?
Yes, so coming from an academic advising standpoint, I feel like we really need to stress that this is really a peer supportive school as opposed to competition. And you really see that right away during freshman year. You just see the bonds that they make with their friends and with their peers, and just how wonderful that is. And I feel like that really helps us in terms of our retention. So one of the things that we didn't really mention was our retention, which is actually very good. We've actually had to dismiss less than 1% of our freshman engineering class over the past 10 years. So in terms of success, 99% of our students succeed. within the School of Engineering, which is just wonderful. And I think that encompasses all of the different resources, of course, the Excel program office, the advisors, the faculty, and administration that help support our students as well.
Excellent. 60 seconds. Want to take us home, Dr. Sakri?
Yes, so I think you've heard tons of great comments from the students and from Lauren and from Beth. To kind of close, you'll find that the Swanson School of Engineering at University of Pittsburgh is really a community. The students make up the community, the faculty make up the community. We're all here to make the best possible experience for our students.
Thank you all so much, and thank you all who took the time to view this session. Once again, any questions that are still lingering, pitt.admissions@pitt.edu, or text that number that you used to register. We hope that you all enjoy the rest of your spring and continue to do your research on the college or university that is the best fit for you. See, Pitt, I'm giving that subtle message that that's the best fit for you. But we'd love to have you here at the Swanson School of Engineering and the University of Pittsburgh. Thank you to all my panelists. Thank you to all listeners, and hail to Pitt.